tariff deadline looming, Canadian industries are bracing themselves as Ottawa's negotiations with the U.S. continue.
Donald Trump has delivered a major salvo in his trade war, this time aimed squarely at Canada. In a letter addressed to Prime Minister Mark Carney and posted on social media,
economy itself. Let us analyze why this trade war is backfiring so spectacularly on the United States.
Every decision in North America these days carries political consequences, and every shift in policy shapes the balance of influence across the region. But a new confrontation is unfolding across North America, and the stakes climb higher each week. What began as another round of tariff politics has transformed into a contest over supply chains, climate credibility, and economic power. The fallout reaches far beyond steel mills and aluminum smelters, with automakers, breweries, tech firms, and aerospace giants now entangled in the disruption. As the pressure builds, the future of continental trade and industrial strategy now hangs on the choices made in Washington and Ottawa. A policy framed as a national security measure for metals quickly spiraled into a confrontation worth $22 billion. The moment President Trump ordered a 50% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum, the impact rippled across supply chains linked to autos, beverages, and emerging technology. Electric vehicle production, already strained by volatile material prices, encountered another obstacle, and political pressure intensified on both sides of the border. The conflict grew into a battle over industrial strength and geopolitical influence, setting off a chain reaction that continues to shake the region's economic engine. The spark came in March when the White House invoked Section 232 and applied the steep tariff. Publicly, the administration claimed it aimed to protect national security by blocking Chinese metal that might flow into the country through Canadian producers. But internal memos revealed a different focus. The documents pointed toward frustration with origins switching across the global steel market rather than specific concerns about Canadian suppliers. Ottawa interpreted the decision as an economic strike wrapped in the language of defense. Canada initially responded with restraint. The government introduced a support package worth $3.5 billion Canadian dollars for domestic producers such as Stock and Rio Tinto, hoping to stabilize local operations while avoiding a rapid escalation. That plan held for a short period until metal prices climbed. Hot-rolled coil steel in Canada rose by $38 per ton above the rate in the United States, creating sudden gaps in corporate budgets. Construction projects struggled to stay on track and automakers faced higher chassis costs. By early summer, companies across Ontario and British Columbia were seeking emergency loans in an attempt to keep production lines operating. The turning point arrived inside a closed-door or cabinet meeting at the RO Wing. Prime Minister Mark Carney approved a full response, a 50% tariff on $22 billion of U.S. exports. News of the decision leaked within hours and sent shockwaves through financial circles in Toronto. Lobbyists in Washington scrambled to assess the consequences, recognizing that the dispute had entered a phase that went far beyond routine trade friction. Canada had signaled that it would meet the U.S. move with equal force rather than settle for symbolic action. That choice marked the first step in a broader strategy. The government did not intend to rely on tariffs alone. Carney directed his team to build a counteroffensive supported by science, public opinion, and long-term industrial goals. Within 2 days, analysts began a detailed audit of steel and aluminum across the country. They examined furnace chemistry reports and carbon isotope data to challenge the national security justification presented by the United States. As the audit findings circulated, the narrative shifted. Canada no longer appeared to be a passive target. It positioned itself as a cleaner and more efficient producer of metals. Modeling carried out during the same period illustrated the potential effect of Ottawa's decision on American industries. A 50% tariff on U.S. steel could raise costs by $420 Canadian per ton, eventually translating into an extra $850 for every SUV or pickup assembled in the country. The pressure therefore landed heavily on Detroit rather than Toronto. Those projections reached the public sphere and strengthened domestic support. Surveys soon showed that nearly 7 out of 10 Ontarians approved the government's stance. Carney built momentum by forming an alliance within Parliament that included the NDP and the Bloc Kebab. Labour organisations such as United Steel Workers along with aluminium associations and beverage companies joined the movement. The situation broadened into a coordinated push for climate-aligned manufacturing, fair economic treatment, and the defence of national interests. The country had stopped reacting and begun shaping the terms of the conflict. Once that foundation settled, Canada introduced a reinvestment plan designed to transform the sector instead of merely shielding it from the tariff fight. The Green Steel Accord, a program worth $4.88 billion Canadian dollars, aimed to update and expand the nation's steel and aluminum capacity. The initiative centered on technologies that promise both efficiency and lower emissions. Electric arc furnaces in Hamilton were